What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first top 5 video of the summer. And join with me as we start off the summer top 5s are Lucas and Joe. What is going on, guys?
I'm back. I am glad to be back. I have not been back since the...
Anomalisa, yes. And Joe is with me for Everybody Wants. So, for the first top 5 summer video, you saw we have 4 coming up. This is the first one. And so this is the top 5 biggest disappointments in film. Now you're wondering, disappointments, what is this range of? Well, should be pretty self-explanatory. It is the films that we were looking forward to so much that when we saw them, we were like, oh, God.
They left a sour taste.
Damn it! Like ever, the top 5, we do have some honorable mentions. Now, Joe doesn't have any from what he told me, so Lucas.
It was hard.
Alright, so
I'm just gonna
my
take this off, it's really hot in here.
Yeah, it is. That's why I wore a muscle. That's why I wore this. Starting off with Spectre. My second honorable mention is another film that came out last year.
Wow.
Fan 4-Stick. Next honorable mention. Kind of is a little bit surprised. I'm surprised this did not make my top 10. Iron Man 2. Next honorable mention. This one is a little bit of an interesting pick. I know many people might be surprised about this one being so low, but from having a franchise that had some amazing all-time classic films to producing this garbage, which pretty much in turn, Nuke the Fridge came from, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal
That's also one of my honorable mentions.
The last honorable mention is definitely one you guys are definitely expecting.
Okay.
Spider-Man 3.
Alright, so I have 5, and you already mentioned 2, which were Iron Man 2 and Indy 4, but I have 3 more. So the next one up is, this was a film that came out in 2012, it was in my top 10 worst video, and that is Brave is one of mine. A damn bear as a villain, I will never get that out of my head. This comes from one of my all-time favorite film franchises, and the third one I actually kind of liked. And this one had the perfect opportunity because this is okay, I'm just gonna tell a Terminator Salvation. And, it was a chance to see the very first time of them going into, the war after Skynet, against the war on humanity. I was like, okay, cool, let's see this. And they didn't do it. Alright, and the final honorable mention, this was the most disappointing film of summer of 2011, which was The Hangover Part II. Anyways, let's get into the top 5 most disappointing films of all time in our opinion.
Number 5.
I remember seeing the trailer for this when around the time it came out back in 2003, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2003. And this had never been done before, taking 2 iconic characters and putting them against each other in this type of genre, mind you. My number 5 pits 2 of the horror genre's greatest characters against each other. It is Freddy versus Jason.
I actually had a lot of fun with that.
I did. For the fight scenes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
The dream fight and then the actual fight.
It was the human characters.
Yeah, it's the human characters. Yeah. I didn't care about the story or the human characters. I mean, that was always the major flaws with these two.
Well, except for the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie, except for that one.
I guess you can say that. I didn't really like the kills as much as I did in previous installments of both of these two. But I will say, this had one of my favorite funny moments when Freddy's got the girl in the dream world and he's about to kill her. Yeah, in the locker, and then all of a sudden she gets killed by Jason. It's like, that was mine! That was my kill!
She was mine! Mine!
Why, Jason, why? I did enjoy that part. That and the 2 fight scenes. I mean, there was an old YouTube clip where they just edited the entire fight so that it ran smoothly, because I'll have to be honest, the fight scenes were not edited properly. They cut between the fight, they go to the human characters, they go back to the fight, and then the human characters are doing something and then go back again. I didn't walk out of the theater as excited as I thought I was going to be.
Oh, okay, I can understand
that's why I picked it as my 5th overall.
Alright, my number 5, alright, so coming from the team that was behind this movie, this could have been a redemption for this certain franchise. It was one of my most anticipated movies of last year, and knowing the team, the director, the writer, and the cast, I thought this could have been a win, and unfortunately it was not. It was in my top 5 worst films of last year, and that was Fantastic Four, Fan 4-Stick.
Fan 4-Stick.
Oh my god. When I saw the trailer of this movie, I was just like, my god, this actually looks amazing, because we had 2 movies before this one. We had Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer, which are actually better than this movie, shockingly. Oh, Jesus God.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
No, what I just wrote this, it's clobbering time, how it just goes to, I was like, that's how you introduce the line? Are you kidding me? Like, I remember you seeing my reaction, I was just like,
I remember you were like,
I was like, what?
yeah, I remember that.
Oh my god, that was dumb.
pretty
Considering the team behind the camera, Josh Trank, who directed Chronicle, one of my favorite found footage movie of all time, and Simon Kinberg, who wrote my favorite superhero film of all time, X-Men Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, which I cannot wait for.
Same here.
Yeah, the two of them, you know, working with a great cast of Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, and Jimmy Bell playing the Fantastic Four. I would think, you know, a win-win situation, just make a good movie, and unfortunately, it was the complete 180, and it was a massive pile of shit of a movie.
Let's mention Chrome Mummy.
Oh, fucking hell, Toby Kebbell. No, I love Toby Kebbell. He was amazing in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes as Koba. He goes from Koba, one of the best villains of the decade, to one of the worst villains of the decade. Like, what a hell of a jump right there, seriously. Like, no, a hell of a back jump, should I say. But somehow, this was worse than the Tim Story movies before it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. In my top 5 or my top 10 worst movies of last year, like I said, Josh Trank, you done fucked it up! And that's why it's my number 5.
My number 5 actually came out this year. I'm not kidding. You want to know what it is? You know what?
I know what
no
number
more
it is.
suspense. It's Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. I was looking forward to this movie so much. You had Batman versus Superman in a fight to the finish, and yet you completely screw it up.
The fight was like 5 minutes.
The fight was like
I wish it was longer.
I
really
wish it was longer. The fight was definitely way shorter than I wanted it to be. The movie was way too long. The editing in this movie is complete and utter garbage. This
yeah, the ending I was just
so
like
bad.
Like I remember I was like telling you, I was like actually I was with my brother at the fan screen that took place on the Monday that we saw it. I was like to Alex, I was like, wait for it. I fucking knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I was literally telling him that.
Like I literally just looked at you when we were saw the movie. I'm like, what the?
I know you can agree with me, so that Ben Affleck was the best part of the entire
Absolutely,
film.
he was the best part of this movie.
And the best Batman since Christian Bale, should I say.
Absolutely, he's definitely.
And Michael Keaton.
And Michael Keaton, yeah, easily better than Christian Bale. Easily better.
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. That's
I think he's better than Christian Bale,
That's
easily.
the debate for another day. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Holy crap, he was horrible in this movie.
Yeah,
he is a terrible Lex Luthor. His character was awful, and people. This literally made me laugh and made me angry at the same time. They were saying that Jesse Eisenberg was a better Lex Luthor than Kevin Spacey. I'm like, are you joking?
Well, I will say this. Kevin Spacey, as much as a good actor in Superman Returns, he really didn't deliver. He didn't have the best lines to work with.
I understand, but
Yeah.
he did have one of the best lines. He goes, wrong!
That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, same.
Doomsday, who looks like El Gigante from Resident Evil 4. I'm not kidding you! This movie is so out of place. It's so wacky with the editing, the acting.
Oh yeah, the editing, especially in the first step, is all over the damn place.
Yeah, this movie is just a humongous disappointment. And it just came out not that long ago. And yet I put it in my top 5 disappointments of all time because it deserves it. It's Batman vs Superman. How do you screw it up? That's why it's my number 5.
Number 4.
So, I was actually surprised they made this into a movie to begin with.
Oh, okay.
But I was still excited nonetheless, because as a kid growing up, I watched this show religiously. And then I remember it was only coming out for at least one weekend, I believe. Because I remember they were giving out special cards with your tickets as you walked in the door. My number 4 is Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie.
Oh!
That was a movie?
Yeah, they actually made a
I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
actually
movie.
remember it.
I don't know that.
So,
Wow.
alright, so the whole setup is Kaiba wants the Egyptian god cards.
Okay.
I'm such a Kaiba.
Goes to Pegasus and says, "You have a card that can beat the god cards. Give it to me." Okay, so he has the card, and they they actually duel, and it gets to a point where they're dueling. He plays the card, and then all of a sudden, some type of weird thing happens, and the Pharaoh's like, "Kaiba, you've unleashed Pandora's box. This can destroy the entire world. I don't care. Give me your god cards."
That's good with the fact he was like, okay, it's dual stuff.
It's like, you've caused something that's going to destroy the world. I want the god cards. Give me the god cards. I just want the god cards.
That would've been
That was his entire motivation throughout the entire movie.
the god
It was,
cards.
I mean, character development wise, it was so bad. It's like, destroying the world. Give me the god cards. It will destroy the planet. Give me the god cards. You have caused the world to be destroyed, Kaiba. give me the God cards. This Egyptian guy comes up and like, yes, I was locked inside this pyramid of light, which is now on the field, and I have taken over the stool, and I will take the God cards, and I will rule the world. And it's like, okay, this... Watching this, I'm a 15-year-old kid watching this in the theater, and my friend and I are watching this, we're just like, this is a very bad two-parter episode. This is so bad. We walked out of it going, hey, well, at least we got a free card out of it. The entire duel itself was an hour. And it was basically, the whole dialogue was Yugi going, you're gonna destroy the planet if you keep playing this card. And Kaiba's like, give me the God cards. That's it. They're making a sequel this year. It actually came out today, the sequel.
What?
But I will say this, since it is very retro, it'll probably be better. But that's why it's my full overall pick. Give me the God cards.
Coming in number 4. Alright, this is a superhero movie, like Van Forstick. Alright, again, the director, the screenwriter, they came together and they had, well, I'm not sure about the actor, but they had one great actor in it. And for some reason, again, just didn't make it, even though I love this director so much. And number 4 is Superman Returns. Oh. Dear God. I love Superman the movie, and I love Superman 2 even more. It's my favorite Superman. It's my favorite Superman movie.
Bro, this is Superman.
Didn't see Superman 3 or even 4. I didn't even bother with Question for you. Didn't even bother with that one.
No,
and then Superman Returns. Okay, Bryan Singer, the director of X-Men, my favorite superhero franchise, comes on board, and the writers of the X-Men movies come on board, which I was like, oh yes, the writers of X-Men 2 and the director of X-Men 1 and 2 are doing a Superman movie. Oh my God, it should be amazing. And it wasn't. Ralph, who looks like Christopher Reeve, don't get me wrong, but he had not a single line of charisma that Christopher Reeve ever had. There's like, okay, the shuttle sequence, it's fine, I guess, but I remember I was watching this with my dad and my brother, and when he was trying to set the shuttle, and my dad was like, what happened to faster than a speeding bullet? Because he wasn't even going that fast towards the plane, if I remember correctly. The CG, I guess, was okay. Kevin Spacey was, I mean, he was the best part about the movie, but then again, wasn't working with the best script, honestly. And half of the film is Superman literally stalking Lois Lane. He's literally like this.
Was it like Christian Grey stalking?
Oh my God.
Almost, yes. The fact that also the Superman doesn't throw a fucking punch in this movie at all. Like literally, the most he ever does in a combat scene is that someone's firing this Gatling gun at him, he just walks towards it, and the Gatling gun just runs out of ammo. That's all that happens. That's all that happens. That's all that happens! Coming from a guy who directed my favorite superhero movie of all time, I expected so much more from this movie. I really expected so much more, and I actually liked Man of Steel more than this movie. I really did. I mean, despite its editing flaws too in that movie, I will say this though, the editing in this was better than Batman v Superman. And that's I actually like this more than Batman v Superman. But yeah, anyway, Superman Returns, number 4.
Number 4 is a movie that definitely needs no explanation. You have one of the best comedy movies of all time, and yet you make this piece of crap. The same movie, but in a different place. Number 4 in my list is The Hangover Part 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say...
Why?
I was going to say Home Alone 2.
No. Anyway, this movie is literally this Hangover 1, different location, different person getting married. That's your entire movie.
That's literally what it is.
I know, it's the same.
The jokes are dumb. Probably one of the most ridiculous scenes in the entire movie. I literally almost walked out at, like, God, let me see it, is during when Ed gets better, the transvestite. This movie is just beyond awful. I was so looking forward to this movie because I absolutely love The Hangover. I remember watching The Hangover, then watching the Stanley Cup Game 7. That was an awesome night. And then having to experience Hangover Part 2 and just be like, this is so awful.
And like I said, thankfully the weekend afterwards we had X-Men First Class.
Thank God, yeah. Because Hangover Part 2 was an absolute turd. We don't need to speak of it again. Hangover Part 2, actually no, Hangover 1 Part 2. I'm going to call it that from now on. That's why it's my number 4.
So at this point in time, Toy Story was a massive hit. So a couple of years later, they decided, let's make a more mature, dark version of Toy Story. Make it a little more action. Have Tommy Lee Jones doing the voices, and then we'll try to market this to kids. My number three is Small Soldiers.
Fun
I've
fact,
never seen this movie.
Fun fact, that was the first movie I actually stayed awake watching.
Really?
Yeah, fun fact, yeah.
Okay, so I bought all the
wow.
Gorgonites, I bought all the Commandos. I was full-fledged to see this movie when it came out. 10 a.m. we saw this. We saw it the very first. I was so wanting to see this movie so bad. The first screen showing that they had for it, I immediately said to my friends, we're going to see this. We're riding the bikes, we're going to see this. And we did. And boy, the plot just turned itself around. Because advertising-wise, they made it seem like the Commandos were the good guys and the Gorgonites were the bad guys. In this movie, they flip-flopped it. The Commandos were evil and the Gorgonites were actually good.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there in the theater like, wait a minute, you lied to us. You lied to me. Gorgonites were like, we want to go to Gorgon. Gorgon is home. That is where we have to go. Gorgon is where we have to go. What about the Commandos? The Commandos are evil. We hide from them. We do not fight them. We just hide and get killed by them.
What is this movie? It sounds horrible.
And the Commandos are...
I think it's a fun movie, but it's really dumb.
And the two guys that are behind this, because I remember David Cross was one of them, and I'm like, he's a stand-up comedian and he's doing a very dramatic film.
I know Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst was in it. Phil Hartman's last ever movie before he got murdered by his wife. But I mean, storyline-wise, I mean, there was no really any good moments except for the final fight between Archer and Commander Chip.
Fight. Yeah, that was.
But I will say the third act when they're all having that war at the end where they're like throwing when it's the toys versus the humans, that was cool. It was the first two acts that really just dragged it. I mean, I had to buy the VHS because at the time I was still a kid and I was like, you know what? I just have to accept it for what it is. And I'm just like, I'll never watch this again. So, Small Soldiers, third overall pick for me, disappointment-wise. Whew.
Alright, my number three comes from a trilogy. And the first movie is one of my favorite films of all time. The second one, good, but it ended off on one of the worst cliffhangers I've ever seen. Where the third one, I'm just gonna get straight, number three is The Matrix Revolutions.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say The Two Towers.
No. Are you fucking kidding me? No, the first Matrix is an amazing, it's a masterpiece. I think it is. And it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I remember I saw the movie as a little kid. It blew my mind when I was watching it. Right. And my dad took me to go see Reloaded in the theater and as well as Revolutions in the theater. And then you go off to this one, which doesn't really tie up anything that the first two Matrixes build up. And I get the whole build up with the Matrix movies was you to see Matrix and Neo. To see Neo and Smith for their final fight. That was the whole build of these movies. The thing is, the final fight was cool, but it was way too fucking long. It was like 30 minutes at least. It was a 30-minute fight. They tried to make it cool by having them fly. They looked like fucking puppets in the air when they were flying. I remember just watching the movie going like, cool fights, but what was the story in that movie? Because there was little to no story. It was the movie was just a big fight. That's all there was to it. And I don't mind big fights. Don't get me wrong. But if there's a story told in that fight, it makes it even better. But the thing is, there was no story within that fight. There really wasn't. They ended the Matrix series with a huge dud. Because the sad thing is, with the Wachowskis, they haven't done anything good since then. Nothing good since the Matrix movies. They really haven't. Speed Racer failed on so many levels.
Speed Racer!
Cloud Atlas, that was okay, and I never saw Jupiter Ascending, but Joe did.
Oh no, don't remind me of that movie.
Sorry. That's why Matrix Revolutions is my number three. Oh yeah, that's a coincidence. My number three is the third film, so what a coincidence!
My number three is from one of my favorite franchises of all time. As a kid, I watched the first three of these movies and I absolutely loved them. Then I watched this movie. I could not have been more disappointed in anything in my life. Mm-hmm. Number three is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Jar Jar Binks is horrible. That's the Jar Jar Binks. He's like, I just want to punch in the face. He's like, that the entire movie. movie, the one thing I'll give this movie is the pod racing. I'll give it that. Everything else in this movie is god awful.
What about Darth Maul?
Okay,
Everyone loves Darth Maul.
Darth Maul
the
was
final
pretty
fight
cool.
great too.
Yeah.
This movie was trash.
The pod racing was okay, but for me it was Darth Maul, the final fight, and Obi-Wan. Those are the only good parts for me. That's really it.
Now, pretty much this movie is a complete joke compared to the rest of the Star Wars movies. I literally cannot believe how bad this movie was. Jar Jar Binks is the worst character ever created, and I think he's responsible for some of the worst movies ever created, like Food Fight and...
Well, he was the main reason why Anakin turned evil.
Yeah, pretty much. Anakin was horrible in this movie. Everything in this movie is just a complete and awful...
Not to mention he's the main reason why the Sith took over the Republic.
Yeah.
Fantastic! Star Fox.
Star Fox.
God damn it!
Don't confuse the two.
No, I was thinking of Star Fox. I was thinking of Star Fox Zero because I've been playing that game and it's so awesome. But anyway, though, Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace is my number 3. Just don't watch this movie. Just skip this movie, skip 2,
skip the whole-
and go right into 3.
Go to Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, just
3,
start
4,
with
5,
episode
6. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, bam.
Number 2.
I'm gonna need help singing wise with this.
Oh shit.
You should know this song. It was a 90s song, but it was played a lot during this movie.
Wait, is it what I'm thinking?
Running in the 90s.
Nope,
Aww.
not even close.
Damn it.
It's a popular rock band. I'll give you a hint. Michael Bay film.
Oh shit. Is it Bad Boys
Bad
2?
boys, bad boys.
No, that was in 2004. All right.
Bad Boys 1?
All right. No, let me set this up then. You're not gonna.
Oh,
get this.
no. I think I know what it is now.
No.
Armageddon?
Fuck! Okay. Yeah, Armageddon's number 2. Thanks, Austin. 8 years old, I was. This was advertised as the, definitely, 1998. Biggest blockbuster. Big advertisers, everybody, I've seen this on every street corner. They advertised this like crazy.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Oh, they did. It was a phenomenon. So much so that my parents, my grandparents, and we all went to the theater together to go see this.
Wow.
And I will say, this is the very first movie that I actually slept through. This was that THX shit where like, the audio was very loud.
Yeah.
It was like very loud everywhere. I still slept through it. I didn't like Ben Affleck. I didn't like Liv Tyler. Their relationship was like, because every time it got to a scene with them, or I should say every scene, was accompanied by that Aerosmith song.
Oh god.
But it's like,
Oh, you don't want to miss a
Because-
thing?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
there's a-
don't want to miss a thing.
Because there's like a scene where they're playing with animal crackers.
Oh my god.
Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck
I
are
haven't
playing
seen
with
Armageddon
animals.
actually.
They're playing with animal
I have
crackers.
not seen it.
And then after that scene, the Aerosmith song plays. I don't want to miss a thing. And it's like, okay, we have a plan to stop the asteroid from coming to Earth. Okay, let's round him up. I don't want to miss a thing. And then and Ben Affleck's like, will you marry me, Liv Tyler? I don't want to miss a thing. I mean, this movie really made Michael Bay's career. So you have to thank him.
Well, I
for
thought
that.
it would be Bad Boys that.
No. Armageddon made Michael Bay's career. That's why Armageddon is my second most disappointing ever, because I was so excited for it and ended up falling asleep. And then hearing Aerosmith constantly. I love Aerosmith. I just can't stand that song.
I can understand that.
'Cause
20 times in one movie.
Yeah. I opened the fridge. I don't want to miss a thing!
This comes from from a saga. Some of my favorite films of all time are in this thing, and this came out when I think it was 1999 if I remember. It was like between 1999 and 2000. It was between those times, if I remember correctly. You know, one of the greatest science fiction films of all time, and it comes back to do the prequels. You guys should know this already.
Star Wars Episode 1 4.
Motherfucker! And this was starting off the prequels. This was starting off the inception of Darth Vader, of Anakin Skywalker. Now, granted, this is not as bad as Attack of the Clones. Granted.
I hate saying
It's chorus that gets everywhere. Great Federation negotiation. It's a political movie. That's what this movie is. It's a political movie. It's not even a Star Wars movie. Yet the pod racing, I guess, is okay, but there was a lot of Star Wars games made out of that. It doesn't make it a good sequence, even though there's some good CG and there's some great sound effects. But in terms of how it's shot, the cameras will just go left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. Darth Maul is a great villain, but they wasted him off in the first movie. And I think they should have kept him on for Attack of the Clones at least, to at least made that movie bearable at least. How do you go from directing one of the better Star Wars films to doing one of the worst Star Wars films? I mean, good lord. Phantom Menace, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, that was cool. That was cool. Like I wasn't in love with it like I was for A New Hope, but I was like, that was a cool movie. And as I thought about it more, I was just like, huh. I like Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, but where's Anakin's origin? This is my disappointed voice. And Phantom Menace disappointed me on so many levels, but not nearly as much as my number one did, which was an angry disappointment and a disappointing level. I know I said that twice, but that's how I feel about it. Anyways, Phantom Menace, number 2.
This takes the concept of one of my favorite animated shows of all time and completely butchers it.
I think I know what it
one
is.
second at a time. Number 2 is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I had a feeling.
The M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong film that is just the worst thing, one of the worst things I've ever seen. The actors don't even have their natural origins. Like, you call Aang, Ong, and it's like...
Don't even get me started on that.
What? This movie is just a complete garbage, overpowered garbage. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. How is it? The special effects are terrible. The characters are terrible. Everything in this movie is terrible. Literally, how does this movie ever? How did this get made? Literally, I just don't understand how M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong could make this movie and then try and make another movie soon. Why? No one wants to see Avatar: Last Airbender from you.
I like the
Get someone else to do the movie. Don't ever think of touching this again, Mr. Ding Dong. So that's why M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's Avatar: The Last Airbender is my number 2.
It's number 1.
Alright, so, you guys know what my favorite movie of all time is, right?
Willy Wonka. Oh shit! No! Oh god! No!
Wow. Yep, I knew it. I knew it.
No! I fucking hate this movie!
I hate this movie too, don't worry. Wow. I cannot believe it's your number 1.
This is your number 1?
Yes!
Oh fuck! Oh! This is disappointing. This just makes me fucking angry. This movie. Okay, I'm sorry.
That was priceless!
Sorry. We're doing. Every time I think about this fucking movie, I go into a rage.
Like I said, one of my favorite movies, Willy Wonka. So when this came out, I was first excited about it.
I was too.
Tim Burton, I mean, it fit the style of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's bizarre, and Tim Burton is bizarre. Johnny
Very.
Depp is extremely bizarre.
Oh fucking hell, Johnny Depp.
But visually, I mean, obviously, it was visually better than the original.
I can agree to that. Yes.
I mean, that was probably the only good thing. It looked
Yeah.
more like a factory than anything else. But then again, 70s, 2000s, completely different time periods. The father-son storyline.
Oh
That
god.
subplot did not really need to be
was
put in.
horrible.
It didn't
It
really
was
need
horrible.
to be put in there. Because it was more about Willy Wonka than it was about Charlie.
Yeah, it was a
pretty
So,
much. It was a
I didn't-
disaster.
I didn't like that part. They obviously updated the kids a little bit to
I
make
will
it
say
more
that.
appropriate for the time.
I will
which
say that
good.
I will say that the development of the kids was actually good in this movie.
Yeah, because they
it was kind of
developed
good.
it. They
was good.
developed it for the 2000s, which was
Yeah.
really appropriate.
Yeah.
But still, the kids just weren't as charming as they were
Oh
in the original.
hell no.
Charlie wasn't as charming as he was in the original.
He wasn't even a fucking kid, honestly.
No, I mean, he seemed like... What's the right word to put him as? He felt like he was just like the perfect kid that never
He was the
got
goody two
angry.
shoes.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, remember that scene where Charlie, in the original Willy Wonka, when Charlie's opening up the Wonka bar and that music's playing and it's like building, the music's building up and building up and
Yeah.
building up and building up, and when he finally gets the ticket, boom, music goes loud and it's like, I finally got it.
He wasn't
Did
really
you
like
ever-
that in this
No,
one.
not in this one. He just opens it and there it is.
And the thing I was about to mention was the soundtrack itself.
I mean, I will say this. The song, I mean, I thought they were very creative with the Oompa Loompa songs. Let me say that. I thought it was creative for what they did. It was different. I mean, they obviously couldn't top the Oompa Loompa songs from the original.
Yeah.
They tried, but here's the. I mean, it went from. I mean, the first song is a '50s song, and then they did a '60s song.
Yeah, it was two different genres of music.
They did
Yeah,
different
time
genres of
periods.
music at the time.
Just the songs weren't memorable.
Yeah,
They weren't memorable.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as memorable as they would have hoped they were.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
my friends and I still make fun of those songs. I'd rather different set of friends.
Oh God. I'm gonna say it's the remake. You lose. Good day, sir.
They didn't even have an outburst.
No, they didn't even have that little one. It's like Papa, 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 Dad.
I'm sorry. My favorite thing in the whole thing. He's like thinking of the time he first had chocolate. He's like, I'm sorry, I was having a flashback. And he just stares off into the distance, and one of the parents goes,
Oh.
These flashbacks happen often? Increasingly. It's in the fridge, Daddy-O. Are you hip to the group? Do you
Don't
know
do
what I'm
drugs,
driving?
kids.
So then slime me some skin, soul brother.
Oh my God. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, because then you'll end up being Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka.
Oh.
But yeah, besides from that outburst Austin did, there was no funny moments in this, so that's why it's the most disappointing thing ever.
Number one, oh my God. This was a film, alright, I know, Star Wars should be my number one. I know that because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but the thing is, this movie, oh my God, just when I heard about it, I was actually really excited for it. The trailers looked fucking incredible, and my cousins, when they saw it before I did, I was jealous because I really wanted to see it. Number one is The Last Airbender for me. Good God. The Last Airbender is honestly my top 5 favorite cartoons of all time. I binged the series one time, and I was emotional when I did it. I really was. Seeing Aang defeat the Fire Lord was amazing, and you know, when I heard that they were gonna do a movie, I was just like, okay, cool. I wonder how they're gonna do the bending. They don't even bring like the same magic to the bending techniques. Like the intro shows promise, a little bit of promise, but then as soon as they start with the movie, like the earthbending, okay, earthbending. I'll reference this in my review. Even the Star Trek talked about this. The Firebender prison is on the fucking Earth, not on a ship like in the series, but on the Earth. And the show, one earthbender could cause a fucking earthquake. One earthbender. It took 5 earthbenders to lift up a rock. A fucking rock. And an extra one to punch it out of Firebender. Aang, not Ong, not Ong, not Ong! This movie makes me go boiling with rage, I'm sorry. Okay, Katara. Katara in the show is this badass female character who develops a romance with Aang near the end of the series. They get married in The Legend of Korra, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they get married.
And then they gave birth to
Yeah, they get birth to like what, 3 more kids, right?
Yeah,
2 more kids.
Korra.
Oh, I forgot to mention, the cast isn't even fucking Asian. Not a single Asian cast member found in this movie. Everybody is white. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind that if they can do their roles well. I don't mind that. But here's the thing. The acting sucked so much ass in this movie. The guy who played Aang, terrible. The girl who played Katara, at least I got Katara's name right. At least I got that right. But Sokka, not Sokka. No, not Sokka. Zuko is the only character they maybe got a little bit right. Zuko's the only character they got right. The Fire Lord in the entire show, you don't even see his face until the final 2 episodes, I think, if I remember correctly.
No, a couple episodes.
Until a couple, yeah, I actually forgot. But yeah, they do show his face in the last season, in the last few episodes, and that guy was an intimidating badass. Where in this one, he was your generic 101 movie villain. Really wasn't.
Lord Ozai has never been disgraced more than this movie.
Seriously, yeah, no kidding. Katara could defend herself in the series. She really could. She was a badass with waterbending. Where that's what did she do? She pushes a guy down. That's all she does. And I don't want to see a part 2. I don't want to see a part 2, especially under M. Night Shyamalan. Ding dong, fuck you. Even though I will say this, I like The Visit. I like The Visit. But go do movies like The Visit. Don't do movies like this, please, ever again. Just don't. That is what The Last Airbender is my most disappointing film of all time. And it was also my worst film of 2010. Good job, M. Night Shyamalan. Well done, everybody. Well fucking done.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason I've never talked about this movie before. It is one of the top 10 worst movies of all time that I've ever seen. This movie
So hot.
literally takes everything you love about the animated series and completely crushed it. The animated series was a gem that brought joy and laughter to the world. This movie completely shits on everything I did, takes another shit, piles gold on top of it, takes a shit on top of the gold, then takes a giant bull, a cow, and a whale all on top of each other, and all three of them shit together at the same time, and therefore you get Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh, I thought you meant it was drawn together.
No.
Oh, I thought you meant it was drawn together.
No, Drawn Together I was never looking forward to watching that movie.
I understand you want Evolution because it is atrocious.
How this movie did anything in this entire movie is beyond atrocious. They literally don't explain anything from his Kamehameha.
Oh yeah,
they make Goku to be a jerk. He's not a jerk.
Justin Chatwin as Goku? Are you fucking serious?
Who the fuck cast that? This movie has some of the worst special effects I have ever seen in a movie. How the Kamehameha, just seeing that in the movie, is one of the most dumbest scenes and most laughable scenes I've ever seen. I'm like,
using that to revive Master Roshi, I believe.
They use it to revive a character. You don't use a Kamehameha to revive the character.
That kills a character.
That kills somebody. None of the characters are anything.
Piccolo looks so stupid.
Oh. Piccolo is the worst fucking character in this entire movie.
Piccolo looks so dumb.
He looks so bad.
He looks like a rejected Halloween mask. That's what he looks like, a rejected Halloween mask.
This movie destroyed my childhood.
Oh.
This movie destroyed.
Chris Duckman said the exact same thing.
Me and my brother grew up on Dragon Ball Z. We absolutely loved it. But yet, when I saw this movie, I felt like someone got a diamond crusted dildo and raped me for 5 hours.
Oh Christ!
Straight. This is just a movie I can never sit through again. I'm never going to watch anything from this movie ever again. Don't watch this movie. Don't do anything to support any of the people from this movie. Anyone who is involved in this movie should just quit acting to get all together. Pretty much. Just stop everything you're doing in Hollywood and go away. This movie sucks the devil's dick. That's why it's my #1 most disappointing movie ever, because it is in the top 10 worst films of all time. I hate this movie.
It doesn't make a bit of difference, Lucas. The balls are inert.
Alrighty guys, those are our top 5 most disappointing films of all time and some honorable mentions. Man, that was fun talking about those.
Yeah, oh my God.
Comment and let us know below, what are your top 5 most disappointing films of all time? Also, name some honorable mentions if you'd like. Thank you to Joe and Lucas for joining. Get ready for the next top 5, which is top 5 one and done films. Now, if you're wondering what we mean by one and done, we'll explain that in the video, so you have to wait a month for that. Anyways, so thank you guys once again for watching. If you like this top 5, please like, share, and subscribe to some more content from me and whenever the crew gets together. And as always, until the next video, we will see you guys next time.
Screw Dragon Ball Evolution!
Give me the God cards.